Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is Shirley with Spirit of Matter, and we are in a Mercury day, moon hour. Ascendant has just crossed the 22 Mercury again. Midheaven, we just crossed the 22 Mercury again. And, well, I have been revisiting the Netherlands 1800 chart, so I'm trying to get the date out because it's not Google searchable or it's not searchable. So I'm trying to get the channel to respond with the chart. It's difficult to see it from the picture. I think it's 1815, and I don't have the name of the village. Ascendant Cancer, middle phase of Cancer, a stellium in Pisces, 22 lot of fortune in Virgo. What I want is to do perfection from the lot of fortune. So I can see, I can study for political assassination that took place, maybe of Pim Fortuyn, maybe otherwise. Are we expecting any political assassination? And I look at the comments, and that connected me with something. Well, let's take a look at the comments for the original video. So one of the person was saying that they are from before the flood of 1953. And for those of you who do not know, for Netherlands, they build 3-story houses because of floods. And floods is something that, okay, it's something that they still cope with, okay? It's a flat land, and the houses, the water level, okay, easily rises. And here it's very interesting because I'm half Israeli, half Dutch, now working to renew my passport, which is a very different culture, but some things are the same. And I live in an area which is considered now desert, but I'm doing a reforestation. It wasn't desert, okay? The camels had plantations and crops and sugar canes growing so much so you couldn't see the top of the camelback. So I was exposed, upon living in a village called Arad. Then I was exposed to the fact that on the top of the mountain there is eucalyptus, okay, which eucalyptus were planted to dry swamps. So perhaps it's a good idea to plant eucalyptus in Netherlands. I don't know if they try it, okay. They do need a lot of water, so it's a tree that needs a lot of water. So maybe planting eucalyptus in Netherlands. Because I don't recall seeing eucalyptus in Netherlands, but I don't remember. Okay, but the thing is that another channeling I got as I was walking into my apartment, and it was coming from relation to the Netherlands, and there was the notion that I bring in the flood. I'm bringing the flood, and I didn't understand in what way that meant. I know that I have Pluto in degree 0 of Scorpio, which is associated with the experience of drowning, and ascendant Pisces, so that doesn't give, okay. And indeed, I had people in my life, a person that had a trauma in the swimming pool, that they were almost drowning and couldn't swim after that. For me, it felt like an emotional flood. Okay. But I was looking at flood because when I left, what happened with the real estate where I'm at was yin depletion. Okay. And I began to work to change that, to build structures that hold water. And yin depletion, or water depletion, very much like tsunami, And funnily enough, last time I was living in Arad was around 2006, 7, and 2008. There was the question of tsunamis, and I was talking about tsunamis, but not in any way I'm talking about today. I was not doing anywhere near what I do today. I'm very emotionally fluid as well. Then the yin depletion was also within me. I did not. It actually began from caretaking to my feminine and beginning to explore also my feminine side, and then seeing what the treatment is like for women, which is horror. Okay, they cannot even be in the body. So much so that I began to question if my non-linear gender experience is also a coping mechanism. Okay, and today when I look at yin depletion, I felt yin depletion. They're trying to deplete me from my finances. Now, mind you, I live on welfare. It's around between 800 to 850 euros per month. Okay, so which I have to pay half of that for the rent. And I still pay rent, by the way, okay? Even because I'm emotionally fluid to deal with the entire thing or find solution. And then whatever, I manage to eat and so on. And food is very expensive in Israel, so... And I need my oils to take care of the nervous system and to be able to travel, which is also important for the nervous system. People that go to trauma, also, oftentimes they cannot be in one place. Okay? So perhaps it's what the soul meant to do, but also they cannot be in one place, so they cannot sit 8 hours to work or sit even 4 hours to work. They cannot do that. It's not the lifestyle. It's not. But what I can do is for these half moons and structures to create forests. So yes, maybe to let me do whatever the fuck I want is not so destructive for humanity, and actually avoids humanity extinction. Now, when I think about yin depletion, if you think about tsunami, the way tsunami rolls, it is a depletion of the water, so the shoreline deepens into the ocean, and there's depletion of yin before comes the flood. On a yin-yang level, yin depletion brings the other extreme, okay? Just like if we emasculate men, then they begin to connect with their masculinity in a toxic way, okay? If we emasculate yin, deplete yin, then we get what? A toxic femininity. Okay? Now, I talked about chart of Israel yesterday. Now, I think about the chart of Netherlands. And when I think the moon, okay, is an Algol and Uranus is going over that moon. So, when I think about the yin depletion, the way it happens in Netherlands is basically for the sexpionage, okay? As both men and women and these cults and these lodges and all these things that in a land full of water, they're doing yin depletion in that way, and that the polarity, it brings in the flood. So my prediction for Netherlands is yes, there is going to be one giant flood. Also, Israel should beware. But with Israel, it expresses itself, I think, more as earthquake. Uranus Sol, right? The ground is shaking. Why is the ground shaking? What is done underneath the ground on Algol ceremonies, okay? This Algol doesn't need that. It's not about Algol, okay? But that's the earthquake. That's Uranus. shakes in the ground. Amazing. There I get a tahini as I'm talking about that. But enough about Israel. Let's talk about Netherlands. And with Netherlands, it's not the sun on Algol, but the moon. And the same ceremonies for same snake goddess. Okay, dus selber Dreck. That with the sun, that with the moon. And moon is what is housing. Now what happens, I'm sorry, on an emotional level, when people torture people, there's an emotional overflow, and then what? Emoties out. Okay? Read. This detachment. And for this betrayal, right? What our goal is betrayal. What is to rape someone is to betray. And then they blame it on the Algol, that she was, bless you, that she was a traitor. No, she was not a traitor. She's just a woman who felt comfortable in her own body until you raped her. And then didn't believe her, called her seductress, traitor, blah, 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 whore, whatnot. Okay, you deplete yin. Why? Because you want real estate. Okay, there comes the ocean, washes over you. There comes the flood. Now, another thing I got with the flood, and a great astrologer I've been learning a lot from, Austin Gopok, okay? Doing myriad of astrology, brought him and his wife brought astrological magic into the forefront, where it wasn't so widespread. And one of the things he talks about, he came from university, so he talks about the Jung and the flood, and he had the vision of the flood. For him, it was for himself, that you're in good situation for the flood. So flood usually, dreams of flood or stuff like that, they denote for impending doom, okay? Basically, we think about the biblical stories of the flood. Okay, so humanity has been going extinct because humanity has been doing very stupid things, okay, that deplete yin, that emasculate yang. And that, you think, how does that affect the weather? Well, if your agriculture is working on rape of people, that's the food you put in your mouth, but it's also the structure of your agriculture, okay? If I build a half moon into the soil, it holds water, and vegetation grows naturally. I don't have to work too hard. The vegetation grows naturally. I can sit and relax and enjoy life, right? It's compatible with fertility, okay? But when you do these, straight lines, you have to work hard. You don't think about the water, then you have to bring technology to bring the water. Then, okay, you make good use of your problem-solving skills, but you work yourself too hard. And then your food doesn't grow because the soil, if you put fertilizer, you put nitrogen. Okay, that's what you kill people with. It's also what you kill worms with. What do worms do in the soil? Well, they make the nitrogen available for the roots to absorb for the crops, and they keep the cycle of the soil alive so you can grow crops. But I found it when I was looking for ways to kill myself. You can thank Itamar Yaron for that, because he made me want to kill myself again, and I found out about nitrogen. So, but don't be it's not the euphoric death that they promise always. Is when they do it with the execution in the United States. I have a video where they talked about that. Not so good. Okay, not euphoric death. So, but the thing is that when we deplete the soil of yin, right? Then we deprive it, it becomes desert. Now, in families where you kill the children, you bury them in the sand. Then you think it's nourishment for the sand. Well, Not really, because you don't have anyone to hold you in. Now you have to have somebody fill in the place of the women. Whoever fill in the place of the women, now they consider the feminine. Now you kill them, you put them in the ground. That's a lot of nourishment for the ground, but you don't do anything with the ground. You don't change the shape of the soil. You don't... Okay, nothing grows there. So many buried people and nothing grows there. And then the ground, it cannot absorb water. And then the water doesn't fall anymore. And you get the desert. Okay? Just like for the other polarity, we have a world war now. This is very relevant. Generations upon generations of men die. Okay, for whichever reason. Okay? Men don't have fathers. Okay? Now, young boys don't have fathers. They are the most susceptible to be trafficked, to go into the places like the Diddler. Also same with women, okay? There's something, either loss of a father, prior to like rape or sexual assault, either loss of a father or missing father. For example, I have missing father, okay? So you see how that connects, right? But the only way is to change the masonry, because the masonry is what we build in the soil. The way that I build a half moon with the slope is how you build, let's say, a bathroom with the sink, right? It's the drainage of the water. And the water grows, okay? Then you have a growing fence, growing trees. You can plant something in there. I see people that do living fence. That is a food forest. The fence itself is a food forest. Okay, then you begin to, this is how we began construction. Well, we must work with the elements now. You have all the tools. If you're a mason, you have all the tools to know that yin depletion causes, okay, excess of yang, which then causes excess of yin. Okay, for example, murder women, murder children, murder this, murder that. You've murdered all of them. Now you go 2 generations of men dead. Now what? No men. Okay? Children get trafficked. Humanity almost going extinct. Some bubbles of something begin to emerge. Okay? Now you have to not perpetuate this cycle again. You have to change the masonry. Masons were persecuted both in French Revolution time and in Second World War time. Now we have a lovely thing. We have both of them together. That's very relevant for the Masons, but also for the Netherlands, because Netherlands has a lot of lodges, right? And if you think about the people in the lodge didn't feel when there was 7th October, okay, I was writing something in some astrological magic thing, but the only person that understood me was a person in Netherlands, and he didn't know for that I'm half Dutch, nothing. He said, we felt for the energy of what happened by you on 7th October, we felt it all the way to the lodges. Of course, because they feel energy, right? So it's like we feel each other's energy, we understand each other's troubles, we go through pain. Okay, when I was standing to toenail fungi, I am sorry, in my right foot, in the nails, okay, I received like the removing the band-aid, and I thought it is the out carrying like the bituach lomi, okay, for my money. I said, okay, I need to find, but I was very scared. Something was very scary for me, but I thought it was about me. No, they said removing the gaza. Gaza in Hebrew is both something you put on a wound, but it's also the Gaza strip, and it was like a strip, removing the Gaza strip. Okay, I literally got challenged removing the Gaza strip. And then when they removed the Gaza strip, I got better improvement in the toenail fungi. Yes, but they found the soil in Gaza had the toxic fungi. So for people anyway. They needed to move out of there. That's what you don't know, because you don't know the soil, because you don't know the land. Toxic fungi is something created by something stagnant. Okay? Nails is around the lineage, the karma, and I see them talking about their olive oils. Now I love olive oils. Wish them all the best. I would love to buy Palestinian olive oil. But the thing is, first I need the currency. The thing is, you have only olive oils. Only one type of oils. One type of trees. Growing only one type of trees. There's no biodiversity for the soil. It gets stagnant. And then the trees, how much they yield is not just because of Israel. We need biodiversity. And about how they treat the crazy and how they treat the children, how they treat the women, this I already talked. Okay? It was a YouTube of a Palestinian woman that she had a Palestinian parent and an Irish parent. Okay? And there was such abuse in the family that she had to escape to her Irish family. So while she's wearing all the kufiya and all the things and all the that, so she's like also quite aware of the heritage of intense abuse towards women in Palestinian society. That it's given, you know, that you say, oh, it's the result of colonialism. No, that was before colonialism. That was before colonialism. Okay, the stagnation to nails, the stagnation to the lineage. Okay, when I turn to this in my lineage, and I'm in Israel, on the land of Palestine, it is in cahoots with anything stagnant above and below, because fungi is Pluto, is also below. Now, what about Netherlands? Well, I have another thing. That was the fire element, and when I got to that, it was the just do it. Okay, the V of Nikes, which is now orange, did Netherlands. But there's stagnation there. Stagnation to the element of fire. What is stagnation to the? That's the fluid, folks. That's the fluid. Element fire, right? Stagnant. Why would element fire be stagnant? Because there is a fluid. So what turns off fire? Okay, not air. Air is blowing fire more, right? It's water. Now, why? Now, what you will see, what I will see is I tend to my tonal fungi, okay? What I will see is I have rejuvenation of action, taking action, element of fire, basically to bring in the water. This is what I do in Israel, to bring in the water, the reforestation, okay? But you have to change. For the moon Algol, all the ritual sacrifices, ritual rape, ritual depletion of yin, okay, it's dumb fuckery, yes, must be by the people changed. It's by the people because this is the moon. If you want housing, the people should be doing now. The Dutch citizens are very active in COVID, are very active, okay, we had unvaccinated sperm, remember this note. Okay, farmers, very active, yes, but how much, I'm sorry, sex trafficking took place in your farms, on your land? You can't escape that. This is housing, this is land. The red light districts, okay, it's not sex work what's going on there, it's all sexpionage. How is sexpionage created? The MK Ultra. What is MK Ultra? You torture, you rape, you electrocute, then if the person wakes up, you torture, you rape, you electrocute, then again, and then again, and then again, then they develop personalities. You program into the personality. Now, there's a glitch in the matrix. Then again, and this you call the red light districts. What is red umbrella? It's the red of the Rosicrucian, okay? You can't get away from that. Because we are not human beings, Okay, we're not artificial to nature. Even if you come from alien form, reptiles, whatever, reptiles are also living beings. Okay? You do too much stupid, either you get to change for this stupid, or and in Netherlands, okay, what do you say? I bring in the flood. It's not because I surely bring in the flood. I'm just a talking person. There are many people tending to their toenail fungi all over the world, believe me. Okay? And their teeth and their hair and their, livelihood and everything, yes? The thing is, I don't bring in the flood in the sense that I have this agency and I am the bringer of the flood. No, I'm just the messenger. I tend to myself, people tend to themselves, okay? For the oppression of a people like me is bringing in the flood, yes. And for Netherlands, if for Israel, Uranu Algol is the son, so for Netherlands we saw the flood of what? At first, flood of refugees, flood of unfortunately violence, okay? Because what happens when people go to a soccer game, usually they come back, they beat the wife, okay? If they are killed, they don't beat the wife. They don't get to beat the wife, right? If men are killing each other in the street, this is good for the ladies at the red light district. They're not coming to rape them. If the only way for you in Netherlands to get housing is to be addicted to drugs or to be sex worker, that is sex trafficked, espionage, then there's housing problem. It's not the Swedes. It's not the Swedes. It's not the Swedes. Now Uranus is on the moon. Why you think about Uranu Algol is the time where they were changing the currency, the World War. Okay, so a lot of Jews were running to Netherlands, which also betrayed. Okay, you think about Anne Frank on the attic, in the attic, right? Why? Because it's a sort of a flood, right? And then she was hiding in the attic. Very likely she was a child that was trafficked, but yeah. And they wrote a story. Anyway. When I was in Netherlands, I couldn't go to Anne Frank house. It was too much energy. It was the flood, okay? It was too energetically overwhelming. I guess some of the people who were in the MK Ultra were laughing at me because my face looked a bit like Anne Frank. So I did not know it until I was in Netherlands. I came back, and then an Israeli person told me, "You look exactly like Anne Frank," and I was like, "I don't see the similarity, but you know who else reminds me? Anneke Lucas." The expandable children, okay, but here is more about the caregiving, the mothers, the fertility was done to the women there. This is bringing in the flood. Okay, flood comes to wash over, and it's not about sin or like that. It's not about those that talk to you about sin. They are sinners themselves, right? They are doing these things themselves. But the thing is that this is nature. Okay, we are a part of nature. We're not an undesired part of nature, and the way that nature corrects itself, we are not exempt from it. Gaza Strip was not, the bandit of Gaza Strip was not removed for the reasons that we see it. It was they were growing toxic fungi on the land that would be toxic for the people. Now most people, they're like, we stay on the land, we stay on the land, we stay on the land. You got degrees from Great Britain funded by Qatar for you to come to do explode yourself in Israel and hurt your family. It was what my mother's book was about. Okay? And we come back to there's a toxic fungi on the land right now. Toxic fungi, not a viral infection. Okay, toxic fungi on the land. Okay, you're staying on the land. What can I tell you? Now, it's one thing when person, and this is this, look at the polar opposite. For the Palestinians, we're like, we stay on the land, we stay on the land, we stay on the land. For the Jews, we run away, 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 we walk away, we gotta go away, okay? There are signs in Hebrew all over Israel with the roses, okay, that they say, Efo tilchu, which means, where will you go to? And so you see how the polarities, one, Palestinians stay on the land, there's toxic fungi that's going to kill all of you regardless of Israel, and stay on the land. Grow only olive tree. The olive trees, the olive tree. Would you grow some more trees? Your soil is getting toxic, getting fungal. So eventually the trees are going down. And then when people, we go here, not good here, we go there, not good here, we go there. We don't confront, we don't do, no, we just go, we travel, okay? And then, well, you travel everywhere, you're going to see same problems, so you have to deal with them. We deal with them on the land of Palestine. So what the Jews do, Nazis, not Nazis, they rejuvenate the soil in Gaza, okay? Soil level, for us, humanity, Holocaust. Genocide, democide, whatever you want. For the soil, we have one people, stay on the land, we grow olive oil, stay on the land, we grow olive oil, stay on the land, toxic soil. The soil is growing toxic fungi. Fungi is something that to grow, it needs to be stagnant. It's not a viral infection that Israel can come, this virus, that virus, that virus, that virus. No. That shit was growing there before 1949, 1948. That's what toxic. That shit is older than our country, yes. That soil. Now, eventually you come, new people, they rejuvenate soil. If there is swamp, plant eucalyptus. If there is a desert, so we revive desert. If there is this, so do this, okay? So they are colonizers, yes, and they are rejuvenating for the soil. Now, a little bit, one learns a little bit from the other, then you get a good rejuvenated soil that stands the test of time. But it has to have a biodiversity. This is why Israelis can't go anywhere, because Israelis are like, okay, but we'll talk. You know how much of Israel? I think we have a colony in India. We have a colony in Thailand. We have, for me, I don't like, for the humidity is challenging for me. Yes, but we have colony in India. We have colony in Thailand. 7th October, all Israel went to Thailand. The soldiers came from Europe. Okay, with paid like their kidneys to go back to war to die in masses. And you think, why would the world allow this? Well, the soil is stagnant. I watched a beautiful video of a person who bought huge land in Texas, most isolated place in Texas, and he's building a forest desert. I don't know what it means. He's making the desert into a forest. So I watch what he does, and he builds dams. So I think about the Dutch people that came to United States, so their mind was, how do we solve something? Well, we use the dams because there are floods. So they were thinking about the floods and the water that are going to waste, and then building of the dams. Okay, well, I was thinking about Sahara because this is where I learned from, which is the half moons. Both are okay. The half moons hold the water, and the dams, they keep the flood from coming. So you can join both, then you have better work, a better function. Okay, you don't have to work so hard. But for Netherlands, yes, it's coming the flood. Eucalyptus oils, they dry swamps, but the thing is, eucalyptus trees, they dry swamps, but the thing is that you can't go with these espionages. Okay, all these world views that they're bringing to United States, they're bringing it from United States. Okay, it's going back to Netherlands because the Dutchies came for the soil. Okay, my family, I'm Youngblood, and so if you're Youngblood, are mixed with Cherokees, and you understand. I'm sorry, who raped who? Okay, but Cherokees are only, when you think about Cherokees, it's like, oh, everybody said that Cherokee, you're probably not Cherokee, but yes, because all the tribes killed themselves and then only left Cherokee and Choctaw. Yeah, I have a Navajo asteroid next to my ascendant. Okay. How do I know this? By the indigenous people, because I think from a south, like, yes, this colonialism was terrible. United States did terrible things. It was the flood, it was the concentration camp, it was this, and people that you know what was before. And I think about Dutch, how I learned about Dutch colonialism was the most cruel colonialism because of all the rapes and all the horrors that they do. Well, first of all, they just brought home. they were treating them as they would treat the people at home. But the thing is, housing. Imagine you make a few people feel like you belong, like they belong at home, and they go, "This is colonialism. This is crimes against humanity," and that's your home, okay? This is what was done at home. That's the good thing about what's happening right now, because people are exposed to different cultures, different things, different that. We can make peace with Palestinians, no problem, but the soil is growing fungi, okay? You tell a Palestinian, you need to move a little bit away from the soil. We need to remove these toxic. Who will say? You say you probably want to evacuate me from my home. Come have home here. Grow something other than olive trees. Meanwhile, Syrian refugees can't go. But the Syrians have also problems. They made Alawites a marginalized society, so the Alawites became king. Maybe we have the same problem in Netherlands. I don't know. But Neptune is going over that stellium that Netherlands has in Pisces for the 1800 chart. And I'm worried that when will be perfection of the 22 lot of fortune, because that tells us when is there going to be another political assassination. Okay. Neptune in Pisces, nothing more the flood than Neptune in Pisces. Now, this is 9th house. For Netherlands, they already see the flood. Where did they put in the war in Ukraine? Okay, where did they put all the people on ships? Giant ships. Now they have from Palestine. Now they have, okay, everybody, and in general, everybody comes to Netherlands because the winter shelters were the best in Netherlands, okay? So however we complain, that was the best of the best. That was the cream de la cream, okay? The refugees were getting housing before locals. That's one technique to turn people against the refugees. Okay, it's just another way of creating division. So if there's going to be flood in Netherlands, I think in many ways there already is. There's going to be like physical flood. I think in many ways, yes. Saturn in Pisces is something to do with the dams. That is, Patrick Watson predicted this in his Saturn Pisces, and he's very correct, okay? It is the dams. For the building dams, removing dams, broken dams, dams that no longer operate, or terror to do with dams. I mean, you only have, what the word damn, damn that. If you think about a person, if a person wants to die, okay, they're so lost, they want to die, they escape sex trafficking, anywhere they go, anywhere they this, anywhere they that, and then they run into a person with explosive. They say, let's explode the dam. They say, well, we're going to die. Well, we're looking for a way to die anyway. We're either going to die, either we're going to drown, or we're going to float. Yes, in the cold weather conditions of this country, you explode the dam and you get the flood. Who are the people that are not housed, and who are the people that the only way for them to be housed is that if they agree to be continuously raped and tortured and enslaved? Why wouldn't they not explode the dam? You wanted the money, you wanted to make it rain. Here we bring in the flood. That's one possibility. Saturn in Pisces is going to what? Sextile Uranus. Remember the square. What happened with the square? Who were the people that were housed? Who were the people who were not housed in the square? Okay? And being enslaved inside a building where you're constantly tortured that cannot run away is not housed. Mind you. So you're gonna have to think about this, because the events will not be so understandable. It's going to be a flood, so you're going to be flooded. Okay, when that was 7th of October, I felt Israel was conquering land, but I felt we are losing land. It was very difficult to stay grounded. And I felt when they were removing these buildings in Gaza and for doing this democide, okay, please, it's democide. Hamas was doing democide as well in Gaza, okay? Then you feel like entire ground being taken, okay, for something very, and I went through intense torture because these dumb fucks, this Ido and Itamar, they were torturing me at the time. And you don't understand what happens. And then I read there was a toxic fungi in Gaza and on the soil. It's not that they were doing the operation to save Gaza from the toxic fungi. But toxicity is something stagnant that can kill you. So you don't understand these events when they happen. But in terms of the nature, the soil has to release stagnation. By the way, this same fungi is Pluto, is a bomb. That we have, speaking about stagnant A-bombs, we have one in Brussels, we have one in Dimona, and very likely in more places. How do we practically do a process of denucleification other than a nuclear holocaust? But now I want you to pay attention to another thing. Look at how many peoples and countries I talk about when I say the name Netherlands. This is not because I am dissociative. Okay? It is also not because, oh, her speech is so, one thing doesn't connect to another, doesn't this, she might maybe give herself some Lorivan. No. It's because Netherlands is connected to all these motherfucking countries and what's going on there. And these peoples. Either you get it or you get it. Because the things are thinking right now. Either you get that the V that we saw in Israel before 7th October was the same V you see in Nikes in orange all across the globe, and you pay attention to where you see that V, is another place where something's going to happen, like a Maui, or you don't. I'm not bringing in the flood. The flood is happening. And for Netherlands, for Israel is the leaders. Okay? That Ido tried to sacrifice me in so many ways. Because he has Solal Gol. Okay? You don't want to lose mandate of the heaven. You are the person from whom I know about mandate of the heaven. I learned about the Tao and the Tao and the this and the that. For you, thought I don't know much about China, but they have this thing called mandate of the heaven, where if a tyrant was loose, he would be assassinated. They say he lost mandate of the heaven. Okay, when you are raping women, you lose mandate of the heaven. How many ways do you need to understand? You try to sacrifice. Don't go to those Masons are the reason they got into this concentration camp. You don't like what the Jews did? Well, what the Masons did and what you do is the same as the Jews. You sacrifice the children on the same altar. Maybe you weren't at that rank. Then you say you got to do a part of what you do on 7th October to get to another rank. So now you're smart and now you're wise and now you know the world. I had Uranus on my sun. Thank you very much when it was squaring Saturn. Now Uranus is trining Saturn. What does that mean? It means that Saturn, ruler of karma, agrees with Uranus, ruler of revolution. A karmic revolution. When I was in Netherlands, I was trying to tend to my teeth before that, and I needed to learn some more things. And the person that tried to help me, she was 60, okay, around Ido's age actually, and she needed to do surgery for her teeth, okay? But she trusted only a doctor in Israel, in Jerusalem, mind you, very likely in Gaza Street in Jerusalem, okay? And she wanted to go only to this doctor. So she collected the money. She didn't know where to get the money. She was a successful businesswoman, doing yoga, private business owner. She was telling me, you have to ground yourself, you have to revision how you want for things to happen, and so on. And really gave me the best of food, if it's nuts or something like that, and the best she could, okay? Then, of course, I was framed and behavior changed. But before that, for the best she could. And I say to myself, if I go to work at the hummus or work at this or work at that, first of all, I remember I couldn't stand on my feet. The country doesn't change that, right? I remember for why I couldn't work at how I got here. But second, if I listen to all her advice, just her advice, some is good, for some, I will end up at 60s not knowing how to treat my teeth, that I would need surgery, okay? So I'm not saying that my way is better. I don't have. Maybe I will succeed, maybe I will not. But I must change the ways of the old. That was the square. Now we go to the sextile. Now in the sextile, what happens? Uranus, planet of revolution, agrees with Saturn, planet of karma. So when we talk about losing mandate of the heaven, if you're a leader, if you're Israel, then this is what is happening. You lose mandate of the heaven because you punished the land. When the sky, Uranus, punish the land, soil, women, that which is the feminine. What is the land? It's the feminine, yin, okay? It loses mandate of the heaven, eclipse. Leaders being eclipsed, you cannot sacrifice. I have Sun in Taurus in middle phase. Yes, I was born in Hein Iyar, which is close to the birthday of Israel. Yes, but you cannot sacrifice me, a woman, because you think of this, the snake goddesses. You have to sacrifice a woman so to keep your reign. No, it's the opposite. Because you do the ritual sacrifice, you will lose your reign. And the more you do that, God, you lose mandate of the heaven. This is for the leaders. Now for Netherlands, it's the people. It's also more affected by lunar eclipse. Now we're going to have lunar eclipses on the Virgo Pisces. This is, with Rahu in Pisces, this is the flood. Rahu, Neptune, the flood. And it's not just for Netherlands, it's international, because Netherlands is the 9th house. It's the people. Okay? There's also revolution of the people. Doesn't necessarily people are going to die or kill themselves, but it definitely means that the people need to allow Uranus to do what it came here to do. It came to liberate in some way. The people need to stand, rebel against human sacrifice. They can't do it with the mindset of, what is there to see in Amsterdam? Oh, let me come take you to this place, to that place, to the red light district, to the this, to the that. And it's not about a rape rave. Okay, when my father dated my mother, he went to show her Amsterdam. What is to see in Amsterdam is this, to that, is the red light district, that's this and that. Okay, that's the thing. They were married for 14 years. It was not, he was the most, utmost respect for my mother. Even when they divorced, when I turned 16, he acknowledged me for the passport, okay? Utmost respect. It was nothing malefic, okay? But that's what you know in Netherlands, okay? That's just, the Amsterdam is the red light district, and then the Dam Square and so on. That's what's to see in Amsterdam, right? But if that thing, which is a cultural place that seems like 40, 50 years, is sexpionage, then it won't help to move it to the sex scraper. I said it's 9/11 on that sex scraper. I said what I said. I said what I said, okay? Holocausts happen there. Okay? It's not sex work, it's not sex positive. It's none of that. It's people programmed and tortured. You want to listen to episode 9. What woke me up around this was episode 9 by Anneke Lucas. She interviews a person. His mother was sex worker, but she was also from this cult. And outside she was working like a red umbrella, which is the Rosicrucian, right? In favor of sex, of women at sex work and so on, the sex workers' right and so on. But it was inside complete torture. That thing, okay? And you see, I'm Dutch citizen, I'm not Dutch leader. I'm not Israeli leader either. I'm Dutch citizen. I'm of the Dutch people. So we need to expose that. We need to expose that. Why do I speak English? Well, everybody in Netherlands speak English very well. They have to. Why Mark Rutte in NAVO speak English? Most of the countries are not American, and I have all my love for America. But the thing is, okay, my name also was a name that you can express in English, Shirley. Okay? But I know I won't say, but for other names, you see those are very American names. Okay? The thought was that, yes, the USA, the land of the free. But what is this freedom consist of? So the emotional tie to Netherlands and to USA and to English language and to Dutch language, we're gonna see things arising from there, right? Language acquisition is impaired by what? Sexual boundary violation, by this MK Ultra. They impair from the nervous system, so they try to mess with your language, with what you say and how you say, and with the language acquisition. That's why it's challenging for me to study Dutch, even though it's my father language, right? My fatherland. I know if I understand, but to speak is challenging for me. And I'm the person who are teaching immersion. And emergence is one other thing, but immersion. And whenever I try, I run into another thing and another thing and another thing. And that's to do with those things that I talk about. Depletion of yin, oppression of a feminine, oppression of a women, and trying to robotify what touch is, what love is, what care is, and to trade it, what ends up with what? Eventually the flood. Now another form of flood is pandemic. They go hand in hand. Viral infection and the flood, they go hand in hand. Something that virally spreads across. Water pollution. Housing. Okay? What Neptunian things do is they unite us all. When I was homeless in COVID, flying, morning flight, above the sky, I saw the no borders in the sky. I saw, oh my God, it looks like snowy mountain. That was the Alpines. There are no borders, there are no border control, there are no okay, they don't have these divisions of slavery. Sky does not know slavery, nor does the sky God. So it doesn't punish the land. This is man-made work, and those people and leaders lose mandate of heaven. This is the flood. The flood reminds us that we are all connected. This is the Rahu eclipses in Pisces. They are making themselves available for us to see. That's the flood. No boundaries in the flood. Water, it's all over. Okay? It doesn't ask where you come from, like those, what was this, the CIA guys with the, what accent they had? They had some Israeli accent, those that were beating up the Maccabi. They had some Israeli accent, I tell you, it was not just Arab accent. You hear the word, where are you from? Sounds Hebrew. Was it Donovo tied to that? I don't know. But it was not happening. It's not happening to Ajax, it happened to Maccabi, right? But then for what he did for another Ajax fan, tried to do. Red on red for the Rosies. Okay? Like Jack said, black on black. It's what we the people do to it. When we come to flute, it doesn't care about all this. It doesn't care where you are from. You're man, you're woman, it doesn't care. Feminine, masculine, they never heard of it. You're a fish, you're a human being, doesn't know, like, never know. Now, I want you to take something into, that one's going to make an impact. Okay, I was listening to, let's tell it as a story. I was listening to Royce de Vries because I'm practicing my Dutch again. And he has a book that he wrote with his father, Peter. And he's in an interview, he says, but nobody read books, then people categorize the book as self-help. It was not self-help, because they tried to cancel for the De Vries family after the father died. Peter spoke against W. Royce can't say it, because he'll be... okay. So... and I can't shut up about this. And then he was talking about he was being in a boat with his father, and there were the orcas. And you think about all these stories about the millionaires and the orcas, and I guess their fate was kind of like halfway here, halfway there. Eventually they were saved. And immediately I thought, well, the neurodivergent orcas, why the orcas are so pissed. In Netherlands you have a company called the ASML. And ASML is a chip company, but when you think about the chip, okay, not the chips I have with fish in Enkhuizen, but, which by the way I didn't have in a very long time, but now there's the flu, it's a bit of a problem. Now everybody's not going to be able to have chips with fish in Enkhuizen. It become pandemic, okay? But the thing is that for these chips, they're electrocution, right? But they put it in the water, and then we have internet. And the Mole X from not Deming, the other one, Musk. D-Day. Then he can surveil all of us with the SpaceX. We're all connected, right? So what you get with the fluid, you get these chips with the electrocution coming as well. The orcas are already crazy. They get the neurodivergent orcas. That's why they attack with the boats. It's like, are those the people that, because they thought they were going to put the chips again? Okay? It's a Urano Royce, I tell you that. What are you invested, the Vries family? I don't know. Okay? And then but basically these fishes, the giant whales come and they're like, who the dumb fucks that put that giant electrocutions MK Ultra in our heads? Because there's an assumption that we came from the whales, you know? So they're MK Ultra in the whales, and we call it internet. And then they rise up to this, they see a boat, they see something, and they say, well, they're going to take that shit down. So we got the neurodivergent orcas, okay? We're going to come with the whales. But the water is not just the fluid, it's a fucking electrocution. That's what it means to have Moon Uranus untethered to. How do they make espionage again? But they rape people and they electrocute them. Rape is the fluid, then a person gets electrocuted, then they get dissociated, then they get detached, and they develop multiple personalities. And then they try to control for the mind. So the nervous system, okay, then there comes the fluid. Those waters are not just polluted, they are also electric. It's not the fluid of 53. And 53, you know, it was not nice either. But what did they did in 60, 61, 62, 63, 73? That's the fluid. And it's electric now. The people need to raid, not that raid the Kamer. You don't like, really. Wilders is living in freaking jail. We had a spy minister. I haven't tended to Dick Schoof's natal chart. I need to see if there is a natal chart. Ruth is sleeping in a bomb in NAFO. But that man's a tickling bomb since birth. So am I, so yes. And what you got, the tea person? What you got, the Thierry Baudet, as he's not in the Tweede Kamer. What he brought, the Tates brothers? I was hearing Royce talking about Thierry Baudet, but I didn't understand if it's for or against him. And David Icke was like, yeah, Thierry Baudet. And Mama from Mafia, she said, oh, no, fuck that. David Icke is too with them. But through David Icke, I know about Rudy Verstegen, so... I think she's vegan, though. Nobody's perfect. My attempts to be vegan ended up with being assaulted by this Ido Nevo. So I'm like, gotta change the nutrition, I guess. By the way, for this Ido Nevo, I had a Hannibal. Apparently Hannibal is a procedure in the army where they are, it is said, so you don't know who is talking, who is that, but if I saw this, then apparently it's true. Where soldiers, let's say that kidnapped people and so on, soldiers are supposed to shoot everyone, including for their own people, so that people will not get kidnapped. As you can see, Hannibal was not helpful in 7th October. Now, I have to admit, if a person is going to get kidnapped and they're going to get tortured, perhaps it's more humane to shoot them. Okay, so let's put that. But I think about the Hannibal and how it came with Ido Nevo. This is channeling. Okay, you cannot invade without being invaded. Try to invade my energy, we'll do this, we'll do that. Okay. That's just life, okay? You try to read my energy, you're going to be read as well. And it's not because I'm looking for the information. No, I see Hannibal. What's Hannibal? Then I go look, I'll search Google for Hannibal, okay, what the story, Hannibal, I don't know. Cannibalism is also something that happened at the Masonry. So that became, and I also saw this with that Itamar Yaron thing. Now I have a Hannibal asteroid next to my Mercury, which is roller 4th and 7th. Like, that's annoying to have. But you see where this custom is come from. You ask for indigenous society in the United States to tell we were cannibalizing on our enemies. Also in India. The Masons were like, oh, let's do it to our own. Let's to cannibalize on one another. I have no idea why would this Ido Navo and Itamar Yaron assigned to. It's like entity attachment, okay? It's like, I guess, in the job in the cult for. I have no idea what it means or what it does. But they are responsible. Let's say if they had to be in Hag and Hag was actually Hag, they would get a bear hug. That's all I gotta say. Now the thing is, they're mind controlled. So this is the man in the machine, you know. But that's exactly what happens with the flood. Okay? When is going to be flood? What is going to be flood? I think somewhere along the Rahu Neptune eclipses is going to be flood. Okay? Now flood can take the form of a lot of things. Ask me holistically, what is the flood? This is the flood. It's what I said. And the fact that you see with this country, with that country, with that country, with that is the flood, that is Neptune. It doesn't care what country. Okay? It doesn't care, you're man, you're woman, you have penis, you have vagina, you have this, you have that. It doesn't care. And if you put electricity in the depth of the ocean and there is a tsunami or there is a flood, then you're going to see that in your houses, okay? That can cause a fire and water. And that people say it's Jesus walking on land because fire and water are together. Magic! Tagetes oil. I have to order Tagetes. Oh, tomorrow is the 28th. I have to order Tagetes oil again. Thank you, Peter. Peter chart had water and fire, the balance of water and fire. And for me, my feet have to do with fire element, but I'm very watery as well. But funnily enough, the composite was all elements equal, which I guess is why I was so solely codependent. And that was signing me to assassin him. Yeah, right. Okay, so a chart of Nederland has ascendant as conjoining or the same degrees his ascendant, but also as the Rahu of Geert Wilders. Okay, Ruth is in Navo. Ruth is he has Jupiter in Procyon. Your job is to denucleify the planet, or the other. I mean, if we don't manage to sweeten the verdict, I guess that was his assigned to do for the inversion of denucleification. Is a nuclear holocaust. I mean, it's a form of denucleification. And I think about when I was last in Arad before it was 2006, 2007. I was reading Dostoevsky, and in his book, I don't remember which one of them. Okay, that he said there was a sentence that goes, "And only to live, only to live." Okay, so the desire of the soul to live. We build houses that are bunkers that are radiation proof, and it's like it's not for our benefit. You don't want to survive there. You don't take your cyanide with you. You don't want to survive there. Okay, a nuclear holocaust is not going like you. And that sentence by Dostoevsky was such a trigger to me. But I have to admit that there's something true of the soul. Okay, also, this is also why. It's also both how people manage to get out of this ritual abuse, MK Ultra dumb fuckery. Because the soul wants, if I think about Peter, and he grew up in this dumb fuckery cult. I mean, he was MK33, right? So he spoke against the WHO. Because he knew that dumb fuckery is horrid. Shinzo Abe, okay, also in Japan. Yes, he wasn't Mama Teresa. Was right wing. You think his political opinion says very oppressive, but he spoke against the WHO. Then you can imagine what this WHO is. Don't ask the leaders whose Mars opposing their own moon to be able to do something constructive. Okay? When it comes, they act against their own housing. Wilders and Rute. Mars action, moon housing. Moon is also motherland and people. Okay? Take it from a Mars trine moon. Moon applying to trine Mars individual. We the people need to tend to these things. If you keep going with this happens, some people are just looking to be victimized. Okay, when like okay, fine, but the flute comes, it's not gonna ask you for your beliefs, and it's electric. They don't need concentration camps. They don't need gas chambers. They need a couple of people to blow a couple of dams, and that's it.